What is up, my Little Deinos? Vepsis here, your host of the Helsinki Hydreigons, and we are finally back for the BBR Season 3 Week 10 battle when we go up against MidPokemaster and his team being the Kentucky Torracats. And this is very important game for us. This might decide that if we can make to the playoffs or not. We have this game and 2 other games more to go in regular season, but we are fighting very closely. As you can tell from the layout, both of us are sitting at 5 and 4, only 1 differential point separating us two right now in the standings, and we are pretty much right there along with Crimson Seabat fighting for that 8th seed or higher seed if there's gonna be more higher seed available to us. But pretty much the 8th seed is pretty much a 3-horse race for us, and this game might decide pretty much once the season is over who is going to be getting it, at least from 2 of us, if it's gonna be between us 2 and not Seabat who will be getting that. So we have to go all in on this game. I have to give you absolute the best what I have offer from this roster, and I think I do with the team that I have built it, but it's a rough match as you can see above my face cam. But I cannot assure you wins, but I can assure you that I will try my absolute best today. So let's go and get that W, and hopefully, therefore, we can push for that playoffs. Hell Hydreigons! Alright, here we are with the battle, and now let's go and see what my opponent MidPokemaster decide to bring this week. I have pretty good idea what he might bring, but we might see some surprises. But pretty much no surprises there, except that I don't see Vikavolt, which I'm quite glad that I don't. And I don't see Quillfish either, so then I do expect that Alolan Persian to be like defensive Rocky Helmet. So that's good to know, I suppose. I do see the Mienshao as well, which is probably the one that I worry the most as a lead. Which is why I'm gonna be leading up with my Mew. And turn 1 I'm gonna be actually going for the Roost to be able to scout the damage output from the Mienshao, if it's gonna be Choice Scarf, if it's Life Orb, if it's Banded. Life Orb obviously I can tell from the item once he's using attacking move, but the other 2 items I cannot tell for certain until I've seen the damage, because other option would have been like Mantine, but that could get wrecked by Stone Edge quite easily. So I think I'm pretty sold on that, and I'm gonna be putting my Mew in the cogs already. And I expect the Mienshao to be his lead of choice. I do have Ice Beam to hit the Salamence, we have Weavile to help with that as well. Melmetal, we have Rotom Heat to help with that as well. And my defensive Mew has actually Scorching Sands, which is the new ground type move, which is base 70 special move, which is kinda like Scald for ground types in itself, that you have a 30% chance to get a burn. But good luck and have fun to Pokemaster, and let's see what he leads out with. He leads out with the Persian, okay. So this could be there to go for a knockoff or a taunt, which can be a little bit of annoying. But I could also just try to get my damage, because I do have Colvo Berry on this and not necessarily wanting to get anything else knocked off. So I think I'll go for the Scorching Sands, because that would be nice residual damage if he can get that burn. He does go for the taunt, as I thought he would. He doesn't want me to go for any kind of shenanigans, but we go for the Scorching Sands. Hopefully we get a burn on this, and we do score a burn, so that's really good for us. And he's leftovers actually, so he's not Rocky Helmet, but this is definitely his pivot around my Weavile, I would assume at least. So that's nice that we got a little bit of residual damage from there. And I'm not necessarily threatened by this thing, so I think I'll go for another Scorching Sands. As he does go for the knockoff, we have the Colvo Berry, so this will do pretty much minimal damage to us. As you can tell, it did 15 damage thanks to that burn and Colvo Berry, and we can go for another Scorching Sands here. Get him whittled down even further along to the point that he's getting closer to the point that where low kick would be finishing him off from my Weavile. So that's pretty nice. And do I just keep going for this? I don't necessarily want anything else to be knocked off, so I think I'll keep proceeding going for the same move. To see what he would be doing. He might go for the Parting Shot, but I don't necessarily mind that too much, because his only ground immunity is the Salamence, and I still have Ice Beam to hit that thing relatively hard if I so need to. But I might also swap into Registeel at that point. He does go for the Foreplay. This shouldn't do too much either. And we get another nice little hit off on him. I do have to watch out that I don't get too worn down, so at some point I have to get up a roost, but I think I can roost up versus something like Pilot Swine relatively well. And I could kinda expect him not to go for a taunt, cause I've seen, okay, he does go for the safe play. I was thinking a little bit like, okay, maybe he doesn't go for that, but he does prevent me to do that. Which is fine play by him, so he knows that I have Scorching Sand and Roost. So I guess it wasn't too surprising. But I'll just go for the same move again, Scorching Sands. As he seems to be just pretty okay letting this thing go down. I guess he doesn't value it too much anymore, as long as he keeps Mew relatively low. And we are getting pretty close of being able to finish him off. We just need one more hit, basically. Now, do I value swapping into something else at this point? I could go into my Viva, cause it will take pretty negligible damage from this thing. Hopefully he doesn't go for Knocko, but I don't think he will. I don't think he will. As he does go for the 4-play, so this won't do too much damage to us either. So that's good for us. And Knocko can easily finish this thing off from here. Actually, I could also go for the Ice Shot just to ensure that if I did any kind of miss creeping, I'll just go for the Ice Shot just in case. So I go for the Ice Shot just to ensure that there wasn't any kind of like a max speed person, which I didn't think would be a case, so I didn't speed creep necessary for that. I spec crept his minion cells, so that's kind of why I chose to go for that. It didn't really matter, because it was very obvious and likely that he would sack that thing off as he has been doing thus far. So here, I think what he's gonna be doing is go for the U-turn, so I'm gonna go into my Mantine. That is relatively physically, like it's relatively bulky, it resists U-turn and close combat. I don't think he's gonna be clicking Stone Edge right from the bat and risking a miss. As he does go for the U-turn, let's see how much this will do. Not a whole lot. So I'm pretty confident that it's Scout, but I'm gonna be making sure. Oh, we tried now. Yes, I'm gonna be actually wait and see that what he brings out. He brings out the Melmetal, so it's gonna be going for the Thunder Punch most likely. So I was at 170 after I took that U-turn, so let's see. Yeah, that looks to be, let me change it to Scarf. Yeah, that's like a mid-roll from a Choice Scarf. So we're going to Rotom Heat. This might be pretty obvious, but it's still my best play. He could also go for the Rock Slide, try to hit both of these. He does go for the Substitute. This might be a sub-toxic set then. Yeah, I think this is like a sub-toxic, so what I will... Yeah, this is gonna be like a sub-toxic, so I'm gonna Volt Switch on this. He's Protect on this as well, so I'm pretty sure this is sub-toxic Protect. And then it's going to be, what you call it, Double Iron Bash. So how do I want to play around this? So I could go into my Registeel on that point. But at very least, first I'm gonna be going for the Volt Switch. I wanna say this still can break its sub, as it does. I could make a really risky play and go into Nidoking, but I think what I'll do is that I go into my Registeel. So I can block the Toxic at least. I'm gonna wear himself down by him having to go for the substitutes. Yeah, as he does go for the Toxic. I don't think it's gonna be Mono Earthquake. We have seen Sub, Toxic, Protect, so I'm pretty sure it's double Iron Blast. So I can immediately go for like Seismic Toss here. He won't be able to break it Sub if he has enough HP on it, but he won't be doing too much back to me yet. He is Mono Earthquake. Very surprising. So he's not able to hit any of the ground immunities. Very particular set. I do say that. But now I'm gonna reveal my Magnerize. So he literally cannot touch me. He literally won't be able to touch me therefore with this. So if he wants to Sub, Toxic, Protect, whatever, it won't take him too far. He's whittling himself down further with this. And I'm gonna be gaining my HP back, which I'm perfectly fine as well. Because this thing, it can also take on the Sylveon relatively well. Depending on the Salamence set, we can take that thing on quite okay as well. I think I'm gonna go for the Protect first, because I think he's gonna go for it as well. He withdraws. Okay. That's very good, because now I can scout what he locks himself into. So now I know for certain that Melmetal's set, which is gonna be very good for me later on, because I was actually worried about it being potentially Shocker Berry for my Nidoking. So I can go for the Protect again, to see what he locks himself into, because I'm very confident this is Scarf. Yeah, he does go for the Close Combat. Now he can try to double on this. But my Mew actually has Heal Bell, so even if he tries to double into Melmetal again, I can deal with it from there. He can try to predict this, but I think I'll be okay shape. He does double, as he does go into the Melmetal. But I have Heal Bell on my Mew, so I'm okay with trying to go for the Roost, I believe, first. And then I can go for the Scorching Sands and Heal Bell and kind of 1v1 him from there a little bit easier. So I think I'll go for the Roost first. He might try to predict my Resisteel and go for the Earthquake. So it's good to keep myself relatively high health. But he could also play it safe and try to just prioritize the Toxic on this thing. It's either or, Toxic or EQ. He goes for the Toxic. And this is where I expect him to go for the Protect, so I'm gonna Heal Bell. I also do believe, with my Nidoking being a huge threat to him, that Pilot one will be Spadef like he used to use it versus JP Westside. For the Nidoqueen as well. The Sylveon is a little bit of unknown still, that if it's gonna be offensive or not. He does go straight for the EQ, we should be able to take this okay. As we do. That was even a critical hit. So now I'm gonna be going for the Scorching Sands. Hopefully we score a burn, cause then this thing is like pretty much nullified. With the leftovers recovery and its damage output. I'm surprised that he runs this kind of set knowing that I run a lot of Res Talk. For example, even on my Rotom Heat I tend to do it quite a bit. And he has seen me playing before in other leagues, so I'm a little bit surprised his approach. But I can understand this kind of set versus majority of the people. I wouldn't necessarily agree versus me, it would always be that useful, but he does go for the Earthquake again. And I think I'll just go for the Roost now, just to make sure I'm a good amount of health. And Mew with this Heal Bell actually has been pretty efficient way to 1v1 this thing as well. And I want to now go for the Roost just to make sure this thing is healthy, because the Mienshao with Choice Scarf is one of the biggest threats versus me, because I didn't bring a Scalper that outpaces it. As he does go for the Toxic, lands it. And again I can go for the Heal Bell. I could actually go for the Scorching Sand first. But I think he will protect. I think he wants to protect, so I'm gonna go for the Heal Bell now. If he starts to predict this and spam Toxic, I can go for the Scorching Sands. But I think he's gonna protect just to gain leftovers recovery safely. So he can start doing this even more than he can do otherwise. It's also important, since while the battle has been not been able to force any kills yet, it's also important always on Wi-Fi to keep playing relatively fast here. So he's gonna start doing this. So now I go for the Scorching Sands. I could actually go for the Heal Bell once more, because he might now try to predict that he does the same thing again. I'll go for once more. I think now he's gonna do the protect. Because eventually he's gonna... Okay, he doesn't at least yet. Does he go for EQ or Toxic again? Substitute. That's, you know, fair enough. That's fair enough from his side. Now that he's behind a substitute, I could try to play around this. But I think I'm okay shape. Try to deal with this thing. It's still 1v1. So I think it's better for me to stay in. And I think it's better for me to prioritize to just get rid of this thing and Heal Bell later, if I'm able to keep myself relatively high health. Yeah, he does now go for the EQ. And I'm gonna be Scorching Sands yet again after this. And hopefully, like versus the person, hopefully we can score a burn with this. Come on, Mew. That did a good amount of damage. We don't score up the Toxic... We didn't score the burn on it, unfortunately, so I think with the leftovers recovery he gets just the right amount of health to be able to provide another sub. But I think what I'll do first is that I'm gonna Roost. I'm gonna Roost first and then I can attack it. Because I can Heal Bell later on versus something like Piloswine. He doesn't go for the protect, so he's gonna be either going for EQ or try to go for another Toxic, I would think. Yeah, he does go for the EQ. I think I'll Heal Bell now. I'm gonna actually change my mind, cause if he EQs and the Toxic racks up again, I can at least kinda like put it back to 0 how much it's been recovering. That's actually perfect turn. He goes for the protect, so I get my free Heal Bell before he could have gone for the attack. So that was actually like, I haven't got these turns too well, but now I got it exactly in the right time to get my Heal Bell. And now he's pretty much forced to go for the Toxic, I would think, so I can go for a big Scorching Sands yet again. And hopefully we can catch the burn finally with versus this thing. We don't catch the we don't catch the poison on him. Now he could try to go for protect again just to ensure that one round of Toxic, but I think I'll be okay and better off just to finish this thing off. And if he doesn't go for the protect, Okay, perfect. He didn't go for the protect, so I did the right call. And now the Melmetal is being dealt with. This frees up my Rotom hit quite a lot. And now I have to just find my opportunity with Mew versus the Pilus one, for example, to get my Heal Bell off. Or like Roost and Heal Bell. And thankfully I still have my Mienshao good amount of health. Nidoking, if it remains in a good amount of health, it can check offensively the Mienshao as well. But it's not something that I want to switching necessarily too often. But thankfully the Melmetal has been dealt with. Quite an annoying set from his side. I thought for sure then that he would be like a Assault Vest or Sugar Berry just for attacks and be as hard thing as possible for me to deal with. Here I'm gonna be swapping right into my Mantine. I think he's clicking U-turn here. So my Mantine can take that relatively well. Being able to resist it obviously, so... Yeah, he does go for the U-turn. We take this just fine. So now later on we have to find the opportunity to get Mew back to full health. But let's see what he does. He does go hard on the Salamence. So he could try to, like, wear me down now quite efficiently. Okay, now I have to think that who is the most necessary here. REGISTEEL is actually pretty good for the late game. I think I go for the Toxic on this. I don't think he will be Lumberry. Stone Edge. And we dodge the attack, that is so huge, I apologize for that. I apologize for that dodge in itself. Now I'm gonna actually check how much Salamence can do to me with Stone Edge. Can I try to roost all this? If he has Stone Edge. $50 to $70 if it's like Bandit, I cannot take it. If it's Expert Belt, it would do 161 at most, so I'm in a range of dying to that. So I think I'll go into REGISTEEL. And then I can protect on that. Good. If he predicts this, this is a great prediction from his side, but I think it's better off for me to scout what kind of set this is. He does now go for the Stone Edge and lands it. That didn't look to be like Bandit damage, because I'm especially defensive. Obviously I'm resisting and I resist the hit. But yeah, I think we are pretty... I can pretty much just go for the protect safely just to scout. If he... I don't think he's choice locked, so I'm gonna scout what kind of move he's packing on this. He does swap. Is he Scarf then? I mean, this gives me free leftovers recovery, so I don't mind this too much. So I just click protect, and I'm gonna be very quick with my time, because I'm still ahead of him in time, but if this battle is gonna drag along a little bit further, I have to cover the fact that I don't lose to a timer. But once I get my Nidoking in for free, I do have my measures to break this team down, and I have Nasty Blood Rotom hit, so I'm not bringing necessarily like a Starly team. But obviously the way that battle has been progressing, I've been relying on my fatter mons, because I haven't got my offensive mons yet in for free. That's one of the flaws on this draft. Like, I was pretty happy when I took over the team what I was able to accomplish with the free Ancients, but considering that there are so many people in this draft league and already had the opportunity to pick out their mons and their offensive, like higher tier mons together, it was harder for me, and honestly now that I've been building with it, to find good synergy with the team. So I kind of have to play the way that I am and try to make most out of it. And like when we see his team with Salamence, Sylveon, Melmetal, Mienshao, things like that, like Mid did great job with his draft, and he's been able to utilize it quite well this season. And it's easier for him to fight the offensive momentum, whereas for me it's a little bit harder to necessarily get those kind of opportunities. So here As he does go into this Sylvia now, I could honestly go into my REGISTEEL first to see what kind of Sylvia this is. I have proper fire resistance on my team, so if it's choice specs and clicks Mystical Fire here predicting REGISTEEL, I can pivot around it from there. And I have Toxic on my REGISTEEL, so if this is like Calm Mind shenanigans, I can beat it 1v1. And I have a good amount of speed investment, so if it's not really speed invested, I can outpace it from there. And Seismic Toss can break itself. He does go for the Calm Mind. Okay. So he has a Calm Mind Sylveon that we have to deal with. This is where we have to go for the Toxic and start wearing him down. He should know by now my full moveset, so he knows that I don't have. Okay, he's actually faster than me. I'm pretty interested to see if he does have the... I don't think he can afford to have Heal Bell on this. But either way, I'm better off to protect next turn. Even if he tries to Calm Mind again, because it's better for me to gain as much health as possible to withstand these hits. And guarantee as much runs of Toxic off on him, so it's easier for me to revenge kill him. So we click the protect. I would expect him to start trying to do massive, go for those Mystical Fires. Moonblast. Okay. Now this would be something if he's like Rest Hard, Calm Mind, Moonblast. That would be really something. But I go for the Seismic Toss. I think he's gonna be like Side Shock actually on it, because I have a Nidoking. And like Hebia Berry on it. I think Hebia Berry actually makes now most sense what he is, so I have to put it in a range where that would be able to finish him off if I need to. But at this point we are pretty good shape, honestly. I'll go for another Seismic Toss, not thinking about it too much. Thus far the team has been working pretty well defensively wise. He does withdraw. I think Regen Mienshao is his pivot for this, yeah. So he wasn't able to accomplish what he tried to do, to break down at least Mantine and hope that I would be fearing his Mystical Fire. But here again I can go for the protect to scout what he locks himself into, and then I'm putting himself already in a predicament that he goes for the knockoff. Now that's something that I don't really mind, cause this will give me my opportunity to go into Mew. To get my recovery, I'm pretty sure. Well then again, I'm pretty low health. I am pretty low health. No, I think I'll go into Mew either way. It gives me opportunity at least to get a Roost off. Which is gonna be worthwhile. Because that gives me another mon that can take one hit from the Salamence, and then I can Ice Beam the crap out of it back. That actually might be a 2-hit KO, this might have been a misplay. Okay, that's a 2-hit KO, so what I think I have to do is that... Yeah, I'm gonna actually, that was a misplay. I should have, like, I'm trying to play fast, so I didn't really actually do a calc, as you were able to tell. And I thought Mew would be able to take it a little bit better, but it was obviously a misplay. And that was a critical hit. So now I have to go for the Roost. And now this Mantine has to be the thing that beats this Mienshao. He might go into Pilot Wine to get up his rocks. No, he does go into Salamence. Okay. I could try to sack my Mew to see what he locks in. Like, this might be choice lock. This could be like bandits elements. Or choice scarf still. Maybe he has dual scarf first. I don't necessarily need my Mew anymore. If I have my other pieces in place. No, I'll go into REGISTEEL. I think it's still safe. I have to think of differential as well, that if I can preserve some, it might come in handy for the playoff race. But let's see what he goes for. Outrage. He's locked into that shit now. That is phenomenal. So now I can toxic this thing as well. And there's nothing he can do. Well, this thing was actually on... Yeah, I actually put it already. I forgot that, but I already put it on a timer. So now I can seismic toss for free. And it would be actually ideal if he gets 3 turns. And now we can fire off the seismic toss. And he will be quite low health already. So now if it's Scarf, I have it in a range of Ice Shot that I need it for. He still has his 3rd turn of this. I think I go for the Protect to gain my health for free. This thing is no longer a threat because it's so low on health. I could have finished it off from there, but I want to keep this thing healthy, because this thing can 1v1 the Sylveon and the Pilot Swine, because I have Magnerize for the Pilot Swine and good amount of speed investment. I don't think his Pilot Swine will be packing that much speed on it. Yeah, and this Almes was finished off with the Toxic already, so I definitely made the right call there. This does give the Mienshao an opportunity to come in without me able to scout what he locks himself into. So this is where I'm gonna be sacking... Oh, he goes into Pilot Swine. Does he prioritize his rocks? Because I can outpace this with Magnerize, I think. Because I did put speed investment on this. This is where he was probably hoping that his speed creep is able to help him. But yeah, it won't help him at all. So I'm now gonna Toxic, because if the Mienshao comes in and I can put it on a timer, it would be phenomenal. If that helps me, like if that's his last mon standing, I can do that to him. I think he's gonna take his time to go for rocks, which is very understandable, because now Mantine doesn't have its heavy duty boots, but I think it will be okay for the late game as it is. I think something that I can do is that I go for double Toxic, because I don't think he will stay in, because he literally cannot touch me. So I'm gonna go for another Toxic, expecting Mienshao to come in. He has to play this game to the very end as well as possible for the differential. There we go. Because he is in a playoff race along with me and Seabat, so I'm very happy that I made this call. Because now I'm putting him in a position that he doesn't like to be in at all. Everything is on a timer. This set is bonkers, literally bonkers for this team of 6 that he brought. I knew, like I would have wanted to put rocks on my own, but I really thought that he's gonna be having hazards of his own. Like he had a Quillpriest with spikes, he had Vigavolt with Sticky Wedge, so I didn't really see that my rocks will be on his side for too long. And when I kind of came up with this set, I was like, you know what, this is a way better set to 1v1 his Pilot Swine and other things, like it's been able to do. Granted, it's a lot more boring, but you have to kind of understand that like I'm in such a close playoff race. I probably already showed on the beginning of the battle that a screenshot of like how close that race is, and you can tell that we are literally separated by one differential, that if I can play for a differential, I will. And if I have to play this way to a win, I will. And it's kind of unfortunate because it's not the most entertaining way to do it, but I think it's always my best shot to do it this way. And now we go for the Roost. And we should be good to go. Everything putting on a time. He's gonna be banking, I think, for a crit. but it won't happen. And if I go for a Scald, that's gonna be doing a lot to him now that he's -2. He has -1 that is weak to Scald. He has the Sylveon that doesn't have leftovers on it. So I think I'm better off to go for a Scald here. So I can do some damage to whatever. Well, actually, I think Roost is better off still, because Stealth Rocks are off. Yeah, I think Roost was, like, now thinking about it, like, I forgot about my heavy duty boots being gone, so I think always roosting off was always my better way to go about this. So I ensure that this thing always checks that me, and so I need to keep this thing around at full health, because the Muse is essentially a sack that I try to hold on into as much as I can, just for that differential point. Because we need those right now. So we go back to the Registeel. As obvious as it is. And again, I have to play this fast so he doesn't get the opportunity to win this with a timer. He goes for the Moonblast. And I also now I have the Mantine and I have the Nidoking still at full health that can check the Mien. So now it's matter of, for Nidoking's sake, it's matter of weakening down that Piloswine to its range. Because if it's better, it definitely will be able to take those. So he does go for the Wish. Which will help whatever comes in to get itself back to full health. But that doesn't really matter other than for Mienshao. Because it won't be actually at full health because how much he took the recall. But I don't mind that too much. Toxic is still on him. As long as he stays in, it's gonna be wearing him down to the point that it will be in a range of my Nidoking or my Nidoking's like Life Orb hit or my Ice Shot for my V-Ball. So here I just go for the Protect. Yet again. And for MidPokemaster's sake, I know this has been really annoying from his side to play. I apologize for that, but you also understand the playoff race that we are in. And I told him a couple of days ago when I had like 5 games to prepare for, this was the one that I prepared the most of and worried of, because I knew what's in stake for this game compared to anything else. And he does go for the knockoff. At this point I might be okay just able to stay in, cause the... Well, actually now thinking about it, do I need to? I think Mantine is still 1v1s even if he has knockoff, cause I'm not weak to that hit. So I'm pretty sure still this thing can 1v1 it if the rocks are even up. He goes for the knockoff. Yeah, it won't do anything. And if the Piloswine comes in, like, it literally does nothing to me. It literally does nothing to me other than potentially Toxic, but I don't think that's gonna be a worry anymore necessarily. Because he only has 2 months left. He does withdraw, goes into the Piloswine. And I will hit this with a Scald. I think at least I will. I could also Heart Swamp into my Registeel. There's no way he's clicking Earthquake. But do I deem that worthy? No, I think I will. I think I want to make sure that if the Mienshao gets out of hand, if he gets any critical hits, it's better to keep this thing not toxic if he has it. He's not clicking EQ here anyways. I would think. It would be quite a... yeah. I knew it. I knew it. So I'm glad that I covered that one up. I'm making sure that there's no way he gets past that Mantine. As long as, cause the Mienshao has regen, so as long as he's able to do this kind of... Oh, I went for the Protect. I meant to go for the Magnerize. My fucking controller just messed me up, like it was lagging a little bit, so... Okay. Well, it doesn't, I guess, matter too much, except that I'm running out of my Protects at this point. So I can do the same thing again. And again, I'm making sure that the timer won't be a thing that ends up losing this game. We have to go for the Protect again. He goes for the Stone Edge, that won't matter too much at all. I can go for the Seismic Toss. Literally freely, get guaranteed damage. Like if he swaps out into the Pilot Swine, that puts in a range of Nidoking, so Nidoking is close to be able to clean this game up. Because it will be able to take the Ice Shot just fine. That was a critical hit. Thankfully he gets a critical hit on that point of time. And now I just keep clicking this move. I don't have to spend any time now at all from my point of view. So I'm keeping every possible angle of potentially losing this game. I'm trying to cover that those cannot come into fruition. He does go for the Stone Edge again. I think this is a sign that he realizes that he's not beating this. Like, I've been able to call every single little ways that I could have lost this game with my defensive backbone and pretty much keep it intact. I haven't had to use my offense at all to beat his team down, so like it's not something that is really entertaining to watch, but if you look at it in a point of view that how I was able to prepare for this game and how to utilize it, this was, barring that male meadow getting a little bit of annoying for my Mew that it was able to keep it as low as it was. I was able to pretty much just with my own bulk to beat down his team. And I still had the luxury to use my offense. So that's something to be proud of out of this game. It's not necessarily how it looks, but the execution and the result is something that I will be happy about it. But obviously I'm sorry that Mid had to play this kind of game. But following through it as well, we are here to play for that, or try to get that playoff spot. And this is a huge win for us. This is a huge win. I can start to say that this is definitely going to be a win for us at this point. So this pretty much puts us in a huge advantage versus MidPokemaster, because we put him back at neutral differential. And we're gonna be 11 differential ahead of him. So we should be, as long as the last two games go well for us, the next game will be versus Okalbina, who has done very well this season, so that's definitely gonna be a tough fight. And then we have the final battle will be actually versus D-Master D-Ray. Grandmaster D-Ray, I should say, not D-Master D-Ray. Grandmaster D-Ray will be the last coach that we play in the regular season. Now, hopefully by then we have been able to secure this playoff seeding, which I will be pretty proud of, because at some point I started to worry, will this be the first season that I have never in my draft league career for 5 years not to be able to make to the playoffs. But we are able to do that. We get our 6-0 win, a good game to MidPokemaster. Again, I apologize that it had to be going this way, but this was my best way to approach this battle in order to win, and I got the maximal result, so it kind of backs me up in that regard, but I still feel bad for it. A little bit at least. But either way, check Pokemaster. Big thank you as well for him. He was actually inviting me to the league. So thanks to him, I'm being able to take part of it, and I'm really grateful for that. It's kind of feels bad in a sense that I'm doing kind of playing this way versus him, to that one person that gave me this opportunity. But either way, I've been saying so much back and forth why I had to play it this way, so I won't continue rephrasing that. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the week 11 when we go up against Okalbina and his tough team that we have to still try to manage to get a win to ensure our playoff seeding going to that. But until then, thank you for watching, and I'm gonna be see you guys later.